What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Legit Whiskey Reviews, and today I'll be reviewing Bardstown Bourbon Company Fusion Series number 7. This one comes in at 98.1 proof, so that is 49.05% ABV. When it comes to Bardstown Bourbon Company, we all know, the Discovery series. They put out a lot of good bourbons. And when it comes to the Fusion series, I feel like the Fusion series is not talked about as much. This is a brand new release. I think it came out either this month or last month. It hasn't been around that long, and I was lucky enough to find it. But I feel like the Fusion series isn't talked about. They've had a couple of misses and a lot of good bottles. So it just really, I guess it depends on which Fusion series we're talking about. But as far as this one, number 7, this is the one we're going to get into today. As far as the mash bill on this, so a total of 54% 3-year, 10% 3-year, and 6% 3-year. They're all different mash bills, but those are all their own distillate, all from Bardstown Bourbon Company. And then there's a 20% Kentucky 12-year bourbon, and then there's also a 10% Kentucky 12-year with a different mash bill also in there. So there's a lot of different, so there's 3-year and 12-year. Of course, the 3-year whiskeys are what make up most of the percentage of this Fusion number 7 here. But like I said, there's also 12-year-old whiskey in here as well. So that's what the Fusion series is all about. They try to put, they're gonna put younger whiskeys, and they're gonna throw in older whiskey in there too. So yeah, so the mash bill, it's pretty all over the place. There's a 54% from the 3-year is 70% corn, 21% rye, and 4% malted barley. 10% of a 3-year from Bardstown is 60% corn and 40% rye, so that's pretty interesting there. And then 6% of the 3-year Bardstown is 60% corn, 24% rye, 10% wheat, and 4% malted barley. So there's a lot of stuff going on in here. As far as the 12-year-old whiskeys, 20% is it is 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% malted barley. And then the other 10% of the 12-year is 75% corn, 13% rye, and 12% malted barley. So a lot of info, I know, but I just wanted to get that to you guys so you guys can see what it's all made up of. So as far as retail on this, the price did go up on the Fusion series. It's $65. So that's where I kind of run into an issue with this, but I'll get to that later. As far as what we have here, I can't wait to get into it. Like I said, the price is a little bit of an issue, but not enough to to deter people, or for me to purchase it, because I've had good experiences with the Fusion series in the past. It's not my favorite, but there have been good batches. So but yeah, let's get into this one. Can't wait to try this one. It's been open for a little while, and I've had a couple sips of it, but nothing, I didn't really dig deep into it. So I just can't wait to get into this. Wow. So still, from when I first opened it to now, the main note that really jumps out is butterscotch. It's just all over the place. It's like a nice butterscotch note. That's the first thing I noticed when I first opened it up as well. And then there's a ton of cinnamon in here. So yeah, that butterscotch and that cinnamon is what really jumps out the most. And there's like I was reading off, there's a lot of high rye content in here, so I know that's where the cinnamon is coming from. And then there's like a thick, rich caramel note in here. It's like a syrup, a maple syrup, and then a caramel note combined, kind of combined, because I'm getting a little bit of both. But that butterscotch note is really nice. I love when I pick up that note in a bourbon. There's a lot of spice and some pepper coming through as well. There's not too much oak that I can pick up on the nose. But yeah, I think what mainly comes through, which is nice, it's a really nice nose because there's a little bit of everything and there's balance. But that butterscotch and that cinnamon are the primary notes that jump out. Then you have the caramel and maple syrup. And then to go along with the spice and the pepper. So really nice on the nose. Let's go to the palate. Cheers. That's nice. That butterscotch is still coming through on the palate, and there's a lot of sweetness going on in the palate as well. But I feel like the primary note that I got on the palate as well is the cinnamon note. It's a nice sweet cinnamon note. It coats the mouth really well. It's sort of like a thick, like syrup type bourbon in the palate. It just, you know, that cinnamon with the syrup, maple syrup. There's a lot of sweetness, like I said, and then towards mid palate, that's when you start getting the spice. There's a lot of spice, a long lingering finish. It's still going on. That spice and that black pepper. There's maybe a little bit of oak, but the oak is not really I feel like that's where it's kind of lacking a little bit. I wish there was a little bit more like older whiskey in here, or at least more of a percentage of that 12-year, because I feel like that's the only part where I feel like it's lacking. It's not bad in any sense. It's super enjoyable, but I feel like for my personal preference, if it had that oak or like a sweet oak in the finish, I feel like it would have been perfect. It would have been a home run. But what's here is really good. It's super enjoyable. I really enjoy this. Let me have another sip of this. Yeah, this is really nice. I feel like the second time I got a little bit more of that oak, but it's still not enough, or it's still not as much as I would want it on the palate. But everything that's here is really good. That cinnamon note is really what jumps out on the nose and the palate. The butterscotch note is there, but I feel like it came through more on the nose, but it's still there in the front part of the palate towards mid palate. But yeah, that what makes this is the finish. I feel like that lingering finish, it just goes on. And like I said, that pepper and the spice is really what lingers towards the finish, and with a little bit of oak. But yeah, this is super enjoyable. And as far as my final score, I'm gonna give it a B-, and not any higher, because I feel like the price is where I have a problem with this. So, you know, for $65, when you get in that range, that's when you start to get, you know, into the territory where a lot of options become open, where you could buy different bourbons, whiskeys, whatever it may be. And I just feel like, does this, you know, stand out from the pack? I feel like it does in a sense, but I also feel like it doesn't do enough to separate from the rest of the crowd, you know. So what's here is super enjoyable. I really like what's going on and what they're doing. And I really like that finish is what did it for me for this bourbon. But I just feel like where it's lacking, I just feel like I just wish it had a little bit more of the oak presence in the palate. So I feel like that's where it's lacking. I wish there was a little bit, just a higher percentage of that older whiskey in there. I think that would have completed the experience. But like I said, what's here is super enjoyable. If would I recommend it? Yeah, I would recommend it because it's that good. It's really enjoyable. Just for my palate, personal preference, I just feel like, you know, I wish there was a little bit older whiskey in there. And also, the price is where I run a little bit into an issue, but I don't think it's bad as far as the price. I just feel like I just wish it was a little bit lower, maybe like what it was before for the previous batches. But there it is. If you guys like my content, remember to smash that like button, remember to subscribe, and keep it legit and do it for the love of whiskey. Cheers.